thank you for coming to my talk. So this evening, I'm going to talk about what the world might look like in 2034, which is about 10 years from now. So before I start, I would like to, because why I want to pick up this subject area, because I want to explore the future opportunities of consultancy using AI. I gather some of you are already working in the consultancy sector, so you might be interested in knowing what's the trend and direction the consultancy market is heading to. So a little bit about myself. My name is Kitty Hung. My background is computer science and technology. So I got my PhD in computer science in 1999. And in the first 2 years, I stayed in academic. I work as a postdoctoral research fellow and technologist. But then after that, I realized that I quite like working with people. I quite like identifying pain points for customers, and I enjoy problem solving. So I make the very bold move to the industry to become a business analyst in the telecom industry. And I moved to central government and stayed there for 15 years. I moved back to the private sector, and I work in the consultancy market, working in various kind of projects, insurance, local government, central government, Internet of Things. We have an echo here. Infrastructure, military, defense technology, transportation, aviation, what have you. So in February this year, I published my first book called Business Analysis in the Era of Generative AI. When my book came out, it was the first of its kind, linking between business analysis and generative AI. So I guess maybe people were a bit interested and intrigued about what I was going to say in my book. So my book, fortunately, very lucky, it reached to the Amazon #1 bestseller chart in 2 categories, the computer science category and the business skills category. So currently, I'm preparing my next book. And this talk is kind of the summary, the idea of what I have been gathering as my next book project. So I ask myself a question, what the world might look like in 2034? Will we see a city like that with all these tall buildings and all this infrastructure? Will we see that? And in 10 years' time, will we have a flying car? I love that because I would like to have a flying car to commute from one place to another because I really hate traffic jam. And will I have housework robot doing all my cooking, cleaning, laundry, and then I was lying in the bed and cheering and enjoying my life because my robot is doing all my housework. And will we realize our dream to settle in space in 10 years' time? Elon Musk might tell you yes, but I don't know. It's only my vision. As you know, in the world currently, with climate change and pollution, we have a lot of unexpected weather and natural disasters. So I'm thinking, will we in the future will tackle all the climate change problem, and the blue sky is back, and we have the green environment, very sustainable lifestyle? Will we? And will we have a smart city like that, buildings built floating on the water, and then with flying car flying around? So with this infrastructure, we'll be able to be resilient from earthquake or flood or droughts because it's floating on the water. And will we have abundant food and water so that in some areas in the world, we don't have food and water insecurity because we have the technology to improve farming. So we make sure food can feed everybody on this planet. In 10 years' time, will I see a wheelchair user walk again? It's always my dream that I want to, in my lifetime, I want to see a wheelchair start walking again with the technology and also drug discovery as well. So I don't know whether we will realize this vision. In 10 years' time, in the world, globally, countries, instead of beating up each other, we live in peacefully and in harmony. And people, instead of going out to the street to protest, they go out to the street, they dance, they clap their hands, they're happy because we will have a global peacefulness. So this is my vision about the world in 10 years' time. And apart from the joking housework robot and the flying car and space migration, I want to leave the funny side apart. I want to focus on the more serious note. It's in the world, we are facing some global issues currently. We have to tackle climate change. I mean, it just recently in Spain, in Valencia, the flood is very devastated because they did not expect a 1 month of rain in 2 hours. How can any government prepare for that? It's definitely not the local government's fault. It just happened so suddenly. We have earthquake earlier this year in Japan. There's an earthquake disasters. It caused a lot of lives and damaged a lot of buildings. Food and water shortages caused by too much water or too little water, drought or flood. And you may say, wow, in this day and age, nobody is hungry, but it's not true. There are people, even in America, there are people hungry because they cannot afford the food price, food stock, that's it. And there are people eating cat food, dog food because they're cheaper. So it is happening in this day and age, 21st century. Energy shortages, because of the political situation in the world, there are limited supply of energy. Then they're causing energy price gone up because the supply is low. That's why the energy price has gone up. Pollution, I covered that earlier. Pollution is really affect our health. Children, they have asthma because of the air pollution. And people get illnesses because they drink dirty water. So pollution is a big issue in the world globally. Crimes and disorder, yeah. You don't go out of your house without locking your door. You don't leave your car without turning off your ignition. You always carry your mobile phone with you. Even you go to toilets when you are in a restaurant, because we are worried, we feel unsafe in the world. And cybersecurity, it is basically the crime happening in the digital world that we still need to tackle. And all this scamming and all these cyber attack like phishing and denial of service and bad hat SEO, all these criminal activities happening in the cyber world. Economic inequality, there are still people living under the poverty line, and also healthcare and drug discovery. And the clip before is we still don't have a cure for cancer or terminal illnesses like Alzheimer's, dementia, and other motor neuron diseases. We don't have the cure. So we're losing family and friends. Social injustice, there are protests everywhere in the world. And geopolitical conflicts, the world is not peaceful. There are spots in the world. Russia, Ukraine, Israel and Gaza, Syria and Middle East, Iran, Iraq, all these hot spots in the world, they're still there. So I want to leverage AI and generative AI to kind of tackle the global problems. So the moment we don't have the solution, because if we have the solution, I won't be here. So I'm using this session to kind of navigate the possibility of using the AI and Gen AI technology. Maybe we can not solve it, at least improve the situation. So in terms of climate change, I think there is a potential we can use AI and Gen AI to actually mitigate the situation. As you know, what AI is doing really good is it can access large amounts of data, and AI can handle, process large amounts of data and extrapolate the recommendation based on the algorithm, and AI can apply the algorithm consistently using rules and logic. And it goes without saying, AI works 24/7. It doesn't go sick and it doesn't rest. So there's a potential to use AI to study the historical data pattern about the climate and to look at real-time like data analytics to say this kind of beyond human brain to analyze the historical data pattern, climate pattern. So AI might be able to look at, I have some early warning prediction. This area might have flood imminently. They can evacuate the population like Venice, that they can actually tell the local residents to evacuate from their house maybe 2 hours or 4 hours earlier. It will save a lot more lives. So that's, I can see the potential of AI and generative AI works. You might say, I put AI and generative AI. What's the difference between AI and generative AI? AI itself has been around for 70 years. It's been doing things at the back based on the algorithm. Generative AI is the extension of AI. It's to take the decision-making, the extrapolation, the conclusion and recommendation, and generate content to the users. So you can generate textual documentation, computer code, images, graph, chart, and also multimedia content. So that's how AI and Gen AI are working hand in hand together. And that's why I mentioned both. So in terms of earthquake, AI is really good in collecting seismic data about earthquake. And also, Japanese government is already doing it. They put sensor underneath the ground to sense the vibration of the whether there will be likely to have earthquake. So they send the data to the AI model and then to do the prediction so that they can evacuate the most vulnerable population from the location earlier. And also another part is the robotic technology powered by AI. They're deployed to the disaster scene, the earthquake scene. They can sense the breathing or movement of survivors. So they can then send the data to the center to identify exact location where there might be survivors. Because when you go to an after post-earthquake zone, you feel overwhelmed by the massive amount of area. So you don't have idea who's underneath the rubble, who's surviving, who has died. So with the AI robotic technology, we'll be able to identify the survivors a lot quicker. That's how I see the potential. In terms of food and water shortages, I think the AI and generative AI technology will be able to help the farmers to look at the weather pattern. And also, some countries, they're already deploying this technology. They use robots to identify the underground water source so they can and then link with the GPS, so the farmers will be able to see this area there's some underground water, and then they will go to pump out the underground water. So it means that farmers, they do not just solely relying on rainwater. So that's another contribution of AI. And AI is very good in collecting vast amounts of data. So AI may be able to help the farmer to study the seeds, the component of the seeds, and to make the seeds a bit healthier. So when the seeds are healthier, they're more resilient to insects, and they grow more crops. So the farmers will become more productive. And so food price will become cheaper, more affordable. And that's how I think AI and generative AI can contribute to agriculture industry. So in terms of energy shortages, I'm looking at, because AI is really good in real-time data. So if we deploy AI and Gen AI technology in power grid, we'll be able to analyze the supply and demand. As you all know, electricity, you can't really store it. And if the power grid generates too much electricity, it just goes wasted. However, on the contrary, if the power grid generates not enough energy, then consumers will suffer from blackout or brownout. So you need to strike an optimal balance between the supply and demand. And I think AI will be really, really good in doing it real-time supply, real-time demand. And it means that we'll be able to encourage the utility suppliers to use renewable energy like solar, wind, and hydro, because at the moment they are not willing to use the renewable power because they find it's really challenging to balance the supply and demand. So they stick to fossil fuel. So if we use more renewable energy, we use less fossil fuel, it means that we have less carbon emission. So if everybody is happy, so win-win is a win-win solution. Pollution is a very interesting thing. I'm not saying AI can help us clean the world. And pollution is caused by us. I'm really sorry, by human, not AI. So what AI can do is we can use the satellite image powered by AI to identify exactly what area generating polluted air. And then we can also install the sensor in the river, ocean, and soil to test the quality, the polluted level of the water and soil, and send this data real-time to the AI system. And governments, authority, law enforcement authority will be able to identify exactly where the air pollution is generated from based on the satellite image, and where the water pollution and soil pollution, because pollution is caused by mostly by factories. So the government or the local authority will be able to attend the location, say, we need to find you, or you have to stop doing it because this is the evidence that you have polluted the river, you have polluted the farmland, or you have polluted the air. So that's, I think, is pretty useful in terms of tackling the pollution. But at the end of the day, it's us to clean up our mess on this planet. In terms of crime disorder, I work in the police for 15 years. So in fact, the police have been trying to use predictive policing for a long, long time, even well before the ChatGPT, generative AI. So what they do is they use historical crime records, and then they collect all the historical crime records, and then they use AI to do analytics to see this area slightly to be have high crime in what day, week, or time. For example, Saturday night, Friday night, Leicester Square. Oh my God! They already know it will be drunkenly disorderly, phone snatching, pickpocketing, and all this because of the historical crime pattern that to show Leicester Square, Saturday night, Friday night is a hotspot. And also another purpose of the AI and generative AI is to target nominal. So when someone's have a string of criminal records, you know this person is going to reoffend quite likely. And then they can target the person to maybe look at his profile or social media post and to identify whether this person is likely to reoffend and where. And then the police can deploy their resources more effectively. As you know, police officers are very expensive. And that's why police forces, they don't like people to waste police time. So with the AI and generative AI, they will be able to narrow down the possibility to deploy the appropriate resources at the right time to the right place. And not just police forces, insurance company, HMRC and DWP, all these departments, they are using AI for insurance fraud, benefit fraud, and tax evasion. Because what AI is very good at is collecting large amounts of data, conducting big data analytics and predictive analytics. And this AI can sit in the crime disorders segment. The next one, cyber attack and threat. I mentioned about people commit crime in the real world, physical world. But what about cybercrime? Cybercrime, people commit crime in the cyber world. And for the AI, we can use AI and generative AI as an agent. It's like a digital police in the cyber world, looking around constantly, 24/7. They say, oh, the firewall, any vulnerability, people try to attempt to attack the firewall from outside. So the AI agent will be able to inform the system administrator that something's not going right, or disable the system immediately before disaster happens. Cyber crimes is not just committed by outside cyber bad actors. Statistically, you'll be very shocked to hear almost half of the cyber attacks are conducted by insiders. So with the insiders, it means the persons, they have the legitimate authority, username, password, everything inside the corporate system, IT system. But they do it for various purposes, yeah? So how to deal with insiders? So the AI agents were looking at user patterns, what their habit, what time they use the system, and do they need to use the system? How they use the system. If they find something a bit questionable, they will contact the system administrator or disable the system before the attack happens. So for the AI and generative AI in the cyber world, it is not the future, it's already happening. It's the present tense already. So healthcare, this use case is one of my most passionate use case I have identified, because I really want in my lifetime, I will see a wheelchair user walk again. With the AI and Gen AI technology, I think we can explore this. For example, we can use the AI and Gen AI to identify the more personalized, customized treatment to patients. And also with the Gen AI, Elon Musk is already doing it. Elon Musk, you planted the chip to a guy's brain who is paralyzed, the whole of the body from the neck down. So this guy, he has the microchip on his brain, and he just use his thought to move the character in the computer game without even saying a word. He uses thinking. So maybe the next version, he'll be able to do something more physical. So I can see from my AI and Gen AI lens, we'll be able to maybe find something to produce some synthetic limbs, arms or legs. And these synthetic limbs have the communication between the brain in the brain chip and the synthetic limbs. So when the chip communicates with the brain, so the wheelchair user said, I want to walk. And then the chips command the synthetic limbs to stand up. And the synthetic limbs actually walk on behalf of the person, controlled by the person's thinking. So I think that this is already in development. So I would like to see it happens in maybe not in 10 years' time, maybe a bit longer. Another one is drug discovery. It's very good in collecting large amount of data. So it means that it has the capability to look at the chemical compounds among drugs, among medicine, and to come up with some kind of formula to cure the diseases that we are currently unable to tackle. And also, one other thing is because AI and Gen AI can handle a lot of data, we'll be able to provide some personalized treatment based on the patient individual genetic build-up, the patient's medical record, the patient allergy record. So, I mean, in this world, we all look different, slightly different. It means that we're all different. So why can't we have the personalized drug treatment to personalize us to, this drug is only for Kitty Hung and not sure. I think it's possible. And then, so what's the consequence? The consequence will be, we will have the very effective drugs to treat the patient, maximize the recovery, but minimize the side effect. So that's my more optimistic view of that. So that's the drug discovery. So in terms of economic inequality, I'm not saying AI can make rich people give some money to poor people. It's not like that. It is, I look at from the AI technology viewpoint, is that we can collect data, inequality data. There are parts of the world, people have problem accessing to housing, education, food, and everything. So where are these people, and how much what's the obstacle for them to access to these facilities? So the AI can collect all this data to target to area or the where they are, and then to produce the evidence to lawmaker, politician, government. They say, hey, we got this evidence that these are the people who cannot access to healthcare, education, food, and housing. And then the government need to do something, because the government say, yeah, we will do it. But then they don't know where. We don't know where these people. They don't know how to target these people. But with the AI, we have the report to say that you have to do it. This is the report, black and white. You have to take some action. And that's how I think AI and Gen AI can contribute to narrow down the economic inequality. And hopefully, we will have a more inclusive world. Social injustice. There are evidence in the world that in the societies we have discrimination, we have bias, and we don't have a fair justice system. So what we can do is we look at all the historical court hearings, the historical the court decision, and the historical prison sentence and their treatment, all this data, structured and unstructured. And then we can come up with the analysis that, yeah, these people with certain ethnic minority background, they are being treated less fair than the people in a white background, whatever. But AI can produce the evidence. That's how AI can do. And so we have to report to alert the law enforcement, policy maker, and politicians. And then they have to do something about it. So lastly is geopolitical conflicts. Cannot make Putin withdrawing from Ukraine is not the theme of this talk. What I want to say is how we can use AI and Gen AI in terms of to mitigate the geopolitical conflicts in the world. So we can look at the historical conflict data all the way to World War I, the last 100 years. And then look at what the patterns, what the incident happened would likely to trigger a bigger conflict. A bigger conflict would likely to trigger international conflict. And international conflict would likely to trigger a world conflict. And that's how AI would be very good in analyzing all this data. As you know, history repeats itself because human behavior is quite similar. It's like if you wind me up, I wind you up, and all this, and then we escalate to a very unpleasant situation. So what AI will do is collect all the historical data, identify the hotspot, the patterns, and the possibility and likelihood that will lead to a worse, bigger conflict. We produce to global leaders, United Nations, NATO, G20 nations leaders, and say, well, it's your job to make the world peace. Here's the evidence. Do something about it. Do not escalate to bigger conflicts. Do not let this country beat up another country. You need to do something about it. And that's how I think the AI can add value to the global, to mitigate the global conflicts. So I have identified the 12 use cases that I think I call it sector-specific vertical problem solving. Because for a very, very long time, people treat AI and generative AI as like horizontal. Yeah, it generates some nice images to me. It generates some nice poem. It generates some funny jokes to me. And it helps me save my time in doing this and doing that. It improves my productivity, but it's all horizontal. I think AI deserves more than that. I think AI and generative AI has a lot more potential to solve real problems. And that's why I identified the 12 top use cases of the global issues. And I myself as a human, I want to challenge AI, see whether AI can help mitigate that. So in your area, you as a consultant, what do you need to do in order to help navigate this, what you call AI and Gen AI landscape? I think we do need to upskill and reskill ourselves. We cannot afford to maintain an old mindset in the brave new world. In terms of technical skill, I do think consultants will need to upgrade themselves to be able to use the AI tools very effectively. I call it advanced AI orchestration. Advanced AI orchestration is you actually can map the different AI tools to organizations from your clients to be compatible to the legacy system. So because for data migration and compatibility is a nightmare. So, and you also, another technique is you also need to have the knowledge to solve different problems for your clients. For example, you need to have the ability to identify the correct data set and to select the correct algorithm in order to help your clients to achieve their goal. For example, it is very, very different approach and implementation to help the clients for drug discovery or in healthcare sector as farming or insurance company. They want to use AI to catch insurance fraud. So it means that you have to understand, have a very in-depth knowledge about data cleansing, data quality, as well as able to identify the correct algorithm appropriate to different implementation. So that's the technical skill you really need to acquire. I'm not asking all of you to go back to the university to get a data science degree or a machine learning degree. It's not that. But you do need to have awareness about how to use AI to just keep using it, keep learning. And in terms of business skills, you need to be able to communicate with your clients. You are the interpreter. You can speak AI language with the technical implementation community, and you can also speak business language to CEO, C-suite executive. So you are the interpreter, you are bilingual. So as a consultant, the challenge of consultant, we always have to be better than our clients. We always have to maintain in front of the curve. If our client is smarter than me, I won't be able to keep my job as a consultant. Consultant, because we are more knowledgeable than our clients. So we do need to do some work. In terms of core attributes, core attribute is not a skill, it's a mindset. You have to maintain a growth mindset. Open-minded, not stubborn. Don't resist and be courageous to try new things. So the core attributes is about your mindset, your psychology, about how much you can accept the new way of working. Because in my last talk in the BA conference, I said, AI will not replace you, but the person using AI will. And use AI as a tool, not something that will replace you. Use it as a tool to make yourself better. That's it. You use AI too for the purpose of upgrade yourself, make yourself a better consultant. So last but not the least is called human-centric skill. For a very, very long time, no matter what IT system we use, we are the sole decision maker. We use, yeah, we got some echoes. It doesn't matter what system we use, the output, we make our own decision. We are the sole decision maker. But now we're going to the direction that we are co-pilot. AI makes some decision for us. I may disagree with AI. I might agree with AI. So in MOD term, it's called human-machine teaming. So it is inevitable that we have to work side by side with AI. And more shockingly, 3 weeks ago, I attended the OpenAI DevOps Day in London. And it was eye-opening. The theme of the day is called agentic GPT. And I was thinking, what's the agentic GPT? And at the end of the day, about 4 o'clock, when they Zoom to San Francisco, live stream interview with Sam Altman, and I realized that, oh, agentic GPT means because Sam Altman, he mentioned about, he said, I hope one day everybody in the world will have an agent. So the agent not just generate content to you, but also do stuff to you, the agent. And in the 2 demos on that day, they used real-time API agent, agentic GPT. The first demo, they prompt a drone to take video of the venue. So we all wave at the drone. They did it from scratch. They prompt with natural language. They just prompt and then the generative AI generate the code and then execute to a capability to make the drone taking video. And then the second demo, the agent helps the guy book hotel and book food from the restaurant. And they just did it live in front of us. So that's the direction we are going to be working hand in hand with the AI tools. So I call it human-centric skill. So what I want you to pay attention is when you work with AI, you need to exercise your human oversight and decision loop. If you do not agree with AI, disagree with AI, because AI is very good in producing to you a very convincing lie. A lot of people, they already kind of fallen in the trap that when generative AI coming up with something, oh my God, it's really good, but it's fake. It's just hallucination. So we need to have the capability to identify AI hallucination, misinformation, and also we need to be able to have the distillation. They call it distillation. Is to avoid the hallucination, to make the AI the content to have a more relevant and better content. So that's the future of consultancy sector. In these 4 segments, I would like to draw your attention. And if you don't do it, it's your choice, but I would like to quote some historical events that if you don't embrace the new technology, what would be the consequence? So back in the 200 years ago, during the Industrial Revolution, there were machinery invented. One of the machinery is called irrigation. So the farmer on the left-hand side, he deployed the irrigation machine to water the plant. But the farmer on the right-hand side, he said, no, don't do it. I water it myself. So he put the water in a barrel and then he just move around and water it. So consequently, as you know, I don't have to tell you, the farmer on the left-hand side, he water a lot more plants and more quicker, and he can cover bigger area because he save a lot of time. As a result, he had more crops. He becomes very rich. But then the farmer on the right-hand side, he became less competitive. Put it this way. So you may say, well, it's 200 years ago, it's too long. Any more modern examples I can show you? Yes, I do have a few modern examples. Are any of you old enough to remember Kodak? Oh, you look very young. So, growing up, you go to the shop to buy the film roll, and I put in the camera, and then we all like Kodak. It's really good quality. But then, when digital technology came out, Kodak said, "Oh, we are the giant of the photography. We're not interested in what the digital. The digital is not good quality." But on the other hand, Fujifilm, the Japanese company, at that time they were the competitor of Kodak. They embraced the digital photography. They produced digital cameras and the storage, the what's called memory chip, memory chip, and they basically reinvent themselves as a digital photography giants. And you know what happened? Kodak went bankrupt. Rank Xerox. Anybody old enough to use Rank Xerox again? So I used Rank Xerox in my first job as a teenager, summer intern or something. Xerox, it was a time when I say to use Xerox, I mean photocopier. So basically, people call photocopy as a Xerox. What happened to them? They lost out to Hewlett-Packard because Hewlett-Packard, they embrace the technology, digital technology. They have different models. They also branch out to laptop, to other digital devices. So Rank Xerox, gone. Blockbuster, and when we have the cloud storage technology, when YouTube just came out, I think 2003, YouTube came out, and Blockbuster said, well, we're doing all right. People still coming to our shop to rent DVD, no problem. So they didn't do anything. And then the cloud storage, cloud computing get more and more advanced, and also the transmission is simply the megahertz, the speed is getting faster and faster. And then Netflix sits quietly into the market, and everybody's now streaming. And what happened to Blockbuster shop? Unfortunately, they disappear all over the world. BlackBerry, once upon a time, BlackBerry was the most used mobile phone in the world. And when iPhone came out, I think 2006 or 2007, BlackBerry thinks, well, my customers, they prefer physical quality keyboard. Because we listen to customer, when the customer like quality keyboard, we can't take away the quality keyboard. So they did nothing. And you know what happened? People say, well, oh, try the touchscreen, the smartphone. They find it, oh, it's nice, nicer than quality keyboard because it's more flexible and with more functions. Unfortunately, research in motion, they just disappear. And last but not the least is Nortel. Nortel used to dominate the whole world, like backbone infrastructure, communication, Nortel, massive giant. But over the years, they didn't invest in R&D, research and development, and they just lost out to Nokia, Ericsson, Cisco, and Huawei. I think Nokia and Ericsson, I want to commend them. They are very commendable that when they realize that they smell the gunpowder from Apple, they say, no, we have no chance. They stopped their mobile phone production. So they reinvented themselves as a backbone infrastructure communication company, using the similar engineers, their knowledge and expertise to do that. So history repeats itself. If we do not embrace AI, if we do not reinvent ourselves, if we do not upskill, upgrade ourselves, we probably be either one of the Blockbuster or Kodak or Nortel. Thank you so much. And now it's question time. Antonio, any questions from the...
Well, I have a few questions that, but I will wait until anyone in the room asks. I haven't seen anyone, but I'm going to ask anyone in the...
Okay, on the floor then.
So you're talking about the police, and obviously you have a lot of experience with the police. Yeah. I was just thinking, using historical data, could the police have predicted, you know, the major riots that happened earlier? Yeah, because that's something like a little bit unusual. How would they use historical data if something like that has not happened before? How can you train a system to predict that this is going to happen all over in these locations at this time, and this is the scale of the problem?
It's in combination with the police officer experience and also the historical data, and also I'm not saying it's 100% accurate, but imagine without AI, you base on your paper document or non-AI analytics. You know, in police, they have a lot of analysts, crime analysts, performance analysts. They have mountain of paperwork. So when they do the analytics, they look at the internal data, social media data, public domain data, and also emergency partners data like court, local authority, prison service, and then they combine together. Imagine this will be too overwhelmed to a human. So with AI, you just to do it as a fraction of the time, because the AI is just very good in handle big data. Of course, you said, well, what if AI is wrong? It could be wrong, but what my comparison is if you use a human analyst, it will take a long time. But with AI, it just seconds, minutes to come up with the extrapolation and conclusion. So it's the speed, and the volume that I think AI can really contribute to the crime disorder analytics.
So do you think it helped in any way this year, or is it something maybe for the future in a few years' time? Where
predictive policing is not future, it's new, but I think it's still quite in the infant stage. It's not quite mature yet, but it's already developing. Of course, you know, they always try around, but it's just to make the police deployment of resources more effective, rather than send a bunch of police like a chicken with no objective and direction. They can narrow down the direction, what the hotspot to send more, to deploy more resources to the location. Same as insurance fraud. And in insurance company, it's very interesting. They actually hire retired police officers as a detective, investigator. So when police officers retire, they go to work for an insurance company. They follow the insurance claimants. They follow them to see, well, you said you can't walk, you have a wheelchair, but I saw you in the park kicking the ball. But with AI, we'll be able to look at social media photos, like Twitter. Oh, this weekend, last weekend, I took my son to play football, but you said the insurance company, you're on the wheelchair. So AI will be able to do it a lot quicker and cheaper. Yeah. Yep.
But for the crime stuff, I doubt it, because you know that for the AI, actually that is doing large amount of data analytics. Okay, then how to predict those crime mainly would be by social media or the behavior of those persons. That will be a lot of personal data. Then the privacy stuff that as a citizen that we all worry about, because the currently crime prediction things is already happening in China. Yeah, and then you know that the China, okay, they are force and order. The main thing I'm worried about is about the justice system, because you know that, yeah, that will be false alarm for AI. And then nowadays people think AI is accurate. They think that AI will be 100% right. In my company, there's quite a lot of colleagues. They think that is 100%.
No human oversight and decision loop.
No.
Oh.
So that is problematic for some projects, okay, because they use AI to do some project
coding
stuff, codings.
Yeah.
So that's the problem that I worry about. Maybe it is not something about AI, maybe the legal system, the politician, or the things that have to be changed to fit in this new world.
It's a very fantastic question, because you worry about in this democratic world, we are not China, we are UK, we have a democracy, we vote for our prime minister and their party. If police is too invasive to look at people's private life, like social media, there will be some kind of data security or data privacy. I would say like on the moral ground, because when someone willingly put something on their social media and put there's no lock, no padlock, it's like open, then it's actually totally legal to see someone. I mean, LinkedIn is open and X is open and Facebook. Okay, you can send me open because you can always put unlock the padlock. Yeah, it's not illegal, but I respect your question. It's about respect of people, personal life. Yeah, I mean, it is a quick question. I mean, in fact, I don't have an answer. But we need to pay attention to there's some way between the scale between the power of AI, the function of AI against the ethics about people and the citizen. Yeah. Yeah, good question, but no answer.
Yeah, we have one question online, but
Okay, four, yeah, and then online question. Yeah.
So I've been hearing you talk about these things for about a year. Presumably you're talking to your colleagues about them as well. Are your colleagues following you? And you can generalize it away from your own company, but I mean, are consultants following the ideas that you are suggesting?
I mean, actually, to your surprise, a lot of people in the consultancy sector, they're quite laid back. Number one, they said, well, my client is government sector and national security. The data is very secret, very proprietary data. They are not in a hurry to deploy AI yet. So I have this contract for the next 5 years. So in the next 5 years, we just do whatever because they won't deploy AI yet. So they're quite laid back. But I'm thinking, what if the client changed their mind? What if the client changed their roadmap? And what if the client changed their priority? All of a sudden, they said, yes, we're going to deploy AI, and then all of a sudden, you don't have the skills to prepare because you are behind the curve. So the sentiment in the consultancy sector, which I came across, I cannot see all the consultants in the industry, is my impression is that they're quite laid back. They say, organization handles confidential data and national security. They are not in a hurry to deploy AI, generative AI, because generative AI, they may lead to the AI vendor to train the AI. So, but they do not understand that there are two versions of generative AI, the playground version and the proprietary version, the enterprise version. The enterprise version stay inside the firewall, up to the corporate data. So it's like you install SharePoint. It doesn't mean that Microsoft knows your content, yeah. But then the sentiment in the sector is OpenAI is not safe. ChatGPT is not safe because it goes to internet, and then all the prompts between the user and the machine will be used to train the data become smarter and more clever. I probably, when I speak to someone, they think I'm crazy. They think I'm just over worried about the world. They think I am a futurist rather than a consultant. Yeah, that's the impression that's the feedback I got from. But I just want to share with people. I mean, some people may support me and to embrace the challenge. Have I answered your question?
Yeah.
Okay, online.
I would also reckon that today you come in both, you put in yourself both hats, because you're talking about the future, right? But yeah, I guess that the consulting, you will find a lot of consultants that will agree, and many of those that will disagree. So we can have a good range. I have a question which is from behind I probably mispronounced your name. If the question is not, if I not read properly the question, please feel free to turn your camera on and share the question online. But basically the question is, what is the potential scale of the risk associated with bias in the underlying data from which the AI models or solutions are developed from on sectors such as policing?
Yeah, education, because as a consultant, we probably handle some kind of data collection. So it is our job to make sure inside the data, not just data cleansing. Data cleansing is totally different from data bias and discrimination. It's to make sure the data is non-biased, transparent, and not harmful. So, because AI can't think, it is us who manage the data set. Because we provide services to clients, end-to-end services, from strategic goal to requirement capturing to implementation. So part of our job is to analyze the data, collect the data, and also to select the appropriate algorithms to support the organization's business or nature. So my simple question answer to the question is education.
I just going to add up with a second question that's coming from me. What do you think about the opportunities that generative AI or any other AI brings to be able to capture or to detect when bias are happening, and also to try to mitigate bias. So one data, in many cases, is going to be biased. If we have a population, and the underlying population, for example, we stop capturing things like ethnicity, or we don't capture things like gender, but the things that we capture underlying in the data show that if the data is biased already, if we have discrimination, the data is going to have that discrimination. However, we can use generative AI, we can use artificial intelligence
Algorithm, yeah.
to make sure that when bias is produced by the algorithm, it's corrected, so we can have. What are your views on things and approaches like that?
Yeah, so basically the simple answer is you know the algorithm, yeah? The algorithm, we put the guardrail.
Yeah.
The guardrail. So the guardrail is nowadays you really can't ask ChatGPT how to make a bomb or how to make fentanyl or how to commit suicide. The data is already there. There are people, you know, all over the place have formula to make bomb, to make fentanyl, to commit suicide, whatever, yeah. But then the guardrail will filter out that if it's an inappropriate command, the prompt, the guardrail will refuse to. I tried that. It's the response is I'm unable to answer this question because it is harmful. So you're absolutely right. The data cannot control by us because the data is out and about, yeah. So the mitigation is we have to do the alignment, you know, to make sure the alignment, the guardrail is in place so that the user will not get the inappropriate output from the data set. But in terms of corporate data, internal data owned by the organization, they should deploy analysts, consultant to make sure the data, not just data cleansing. Data cleansing is all about maybe the postcode is match together into divide the postcode to make the data quality better. It's not. The data quality, the data is all about the content, whether it's appropriate, the content, whether there's any discrimination, whether there's any bias, or whether there's any transparency in the data. So if it's a corporate data, I think the data owner is the organization. They will be responsible and accountable for their own data. But for the internet data, we have no control. That's why we call ChatGPT playground.
Yeah.
A playground is a playground. That's why human oversight and decision look just so important. So important. So I've got a question from Andy.
Recently read that they have introduced driverless taxis in California and Arizona. I'm concerned about the impact of AI on employment, because that simply means that we could have driverless buses, trains, planes. So what are these people who are going to be out of work will be doing?
Well, this is a history repeat itself. During the Industrial Revolution, some farmers, they lost their job because it's a machinery automation. So what they did, just an example from Industrial Revolution, because I read about it. They move on. They went to do something else. They start investigating the seeds. So they did quite some research and development to see how to make the seeds healthier and less susceptible to insects. So they use their human intelligence to improve the quality of their crops and the seeds. And then that the tractor cannot do. Tractor can only plow the soil, and then the irrigation machine can only irrigate the plant. So if we think about the example of Industrial Revolution, some farmers move on to do something that the machine cannot do. So my advice to those drivers, if they lose their job as a result of the driverless car, driverless taxi, there are plenty of things in the world to do if they are willing to learn. So if they're willing to learn, I mean, in the 12 use cases I have presented in this talk, none of the use cases are solved. None of the problems are solved. If all the problems are solved, then we will have the world with warless world, no war. We'll have everybody is healthy, live till 200 years, and we have plenty of food, and we don't have climate change. No, none of these problems are solved. So maybe these people, if they become displaced as a result of the autonomous vehicle, they may consider to reskill themselves to do something that AI can't do yet. So that's my kind of standard answer to you. But if they are like, oh, they're 55 and they've been driving a taxi for the last 40 years, 30 years, they don't know how to reskill themselves, then it's another issue. So, yeah, but if they're 25, they still have plenty of time to learn, reskill themselves. I mean, I'm not 25, but I'm still learning. I don't.
Can I respond to that with my favorite AI prompt?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
We have another online question.
No. I was checking now. It's just that the question was answered.
Yeah, okay. And
Yeah.
any more questions? Apart from, are you sure?
I have from my own.
Yeah, sure.
Feel free. I mean, I can follow up the questions with you later. I think what you have been presenting is really interesting. We have the UN organization, right? The United Nations. They have developed already the Sustainable Development Goals, right? Which is the series of, I think it's 20. Well, I don't know, going to remember the number. How do you think generative AI could make an impact with these 12, with these, I don't remember the number. I don't remember the number exactly. How do you think the numbers, the goals are, can we end poverty? Can we make sure that everybody has access to food? Can we end, eventually, I think one of the latest one is, can we end wars? So how do you think generative AI can collaborate with existing organizations into, yeah, make the world a better place, a more sustainable place?
So as a consultant, you serve clients in different sectors, maybe insurance, maybe law enforcement, central government, military, national security. So these are vertical industries, yeah, and even many pharmaceutical.
Yeah.
Pharmaceutical, healthcare, and maybe organization responsible for disasters. There's like disaster, they have this organization managing the climate change and global warming and all this. So with this, I think a lot of them, they're not using AI or Gen AI in their project or their development. So it's a good opportunity for us as a consultant to introduce the technology to show to them that will make your development, your solution a lot quicker.
Yeah.
Because we have this automation. And also I'm not just talking about the connective mental tasks. I'm also talking about physical tasks, like the robot deployed to earthquake area, the robot deployed into to catch the pollution, and also robotic limbs and synthetic limbs, arms and legs could be made to help disabled people walk again, move again. Yeah, so there are lots of opportunities. AI is the brain, and then the physical device like autonomous vehicle driverless car, and housework robot. Yeah, figure is doing deploying some robots for household and also in a BMW factory. And then drone for military, so they're physical, I call it Internet of Things, IoT, physical devices powered by AI. They can actually do physical tasks in the warehouse or in the hospital or even in the nursing home to help patients. So the beauty of that is these robotic devices, they can actually interact with human in natural language. So I saw the demo on YouTube. It's a figure AI, and they actually talk to the robot. Could you tell me what is edible on this table? And the robot pick up the apple and say to the person, this is edible. And then can you put all the trashes to the basket? And then robot just put the papers to the basket. So there is you can use the natural language to communicate with robots. So imagine how useful it will be in the nursing home and hospital, in the warehouse and even building sites. Yeah. So so if you deep dive my 12 use cases, you will find hundreds of industries supporting that. So if I say healthcare, you're talking about nursing home, hospital, pharmaceutical, retirement house, and rehabilitation center, all these organizations. When you talk about crime and disorder, you talk about not just police forces, but also maybe intelligence agents and insurance company, tax office, and benefits, social security department, DWP. So you're not just one use case that you branch out to different organization, different sector. I mean, the drug discovery, we talk about not just pharmaceutical, but also research, development, etc. Yeah, so the 12 use cases is just the top level.
Still the same
Already.
Hello?
Yeah, I don't fucking know.
Huh? What's up?
I know, I'm just kidding. What?
Someone just
Is
opened
someone in the line? Hello? That was?
I was.
Yeah, Charlie's done.
It's a question.
No, I think it's
So you have a question?
That's a new colour of boys.
Okay.
Yes, you look very beautiful in your brand new blue colours. Yes,
Okay.
yes,
sorry.
you did a good voice.
Okay, congratulations. Thank you very much. I appreciate the answers. Really nice question.
Yeah.
Best publications or websites or
Oh, she's not taking. Maybe she's sleeping.
people.
Or maybe the sound is off. Maybe.
Oh,
She didn't answer.
so okay, I can share with
It went
you.
to voicemail.
Yeah. So I
I think it's her phone.
not just on the internet. I come to these events. I learn from people, and I go to conferences, and I go to workshop, and I talk to people, and also I find that I subscribe some.
He's running AI presentation. Oops! Please clean up.
I will when I get back.
Okay.
So someone maybe just turn on their microphone. So my favorite is actually the OpenAI and Topic website, because OpenAI actually have the whole training about prompt engineering. It's amazing. It's free, and then there's another channel called AI Search. AI Search is a newsletter. I subscribe tons of newsletter, and also LinkedIn. Pay attention to LinkedIn. So many content, so many materials on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is good, and also I'm not the subscriber of TikTok, but people said they learn AI from TikTok, from the creators. So social media, social media platform like X and LinkedIn, YouTube, and then newsletters, AI newsletter. You can serve. You can actually ask GPT, because GPT, because I'm the version called GPT Search. So whatever I ask the GPT, it answers my question with the sources, with the citation. So I can just click the link to go to visit the sources. So that's how I would like to share with you how I learn. I'm not just learning on virtually. I like to learn physically, and that's why I like going to conference. I like attend events. I like networking, because networking, you learn from each other. You know, we go to every month and we go for a drink, and then in socially we can learn from each other. So don't just learn from online virtually. See people go to like support group, and also BCS. Join BCS if you're not a member, because when you join BCS, I'm not trying to market BCS, but let me tell you, once you join BCS, you get all the notification about courses, seminar, events, and networking workshop, and all this, and you meet people through the event. And because nowadays human touch is the only thing left, and you learn a lot, tons from talking to people, networking. Yeah, and also, are you based in London?
Yes.
So in London, we have London, Central London, North London, and South London branches, and we frequently organize events for members and non-members.
There is also an AI branch.
Exactly, specialist group. Yeah, I'm the member as well.
We're going to be doing another event next Thursday as well, and we bring in 5 speakers. Are you coming also, Kitty? Will you be?
Yeah. If next week I should be able to do it. And also, there are people knowing more than me and you, and then learn from these people, mentoring, coaching. We have a professor in this room, just sitting in front of you. He's the leading voice in AI.
No.
So I call Professor Paul basically is a leading figure, an expert. So you won't be able to ask his advice if you are seeing him in the street. You have to come to this conference and then introduce each other. You know each other. Yeah. So networking, coaching, mentoring, talking to people, attend events, as well as doing your research online. I mean, there are people, they like structured learning, like they want to go to a classroom with the training course, and after that, they got a certificate putting on the wall. Or they even go back to university to do some, like MIT and also Stanford and Harvard. They always have this short program. So you pay some money and then you have the structured learning. But there are people, they kind of self-directed. They read a book, they talk to people. The one who are more like the latter one. I'm more like a self-directed one. I like reading books and I like talking to people and I like learn in my own time. I mean, a certificate would be nice, yeah, but it depends on how you learn it, how you want to learn. But there are just tons of resources. You will never run out of resources to learn. It's just whether you're willing to learn or not. And also, be brave, be courageous. Once you learn it, try it out, practice. And if you are successful, you tell your boss, and you can introduce the technology to your organization. I mean, a lot of people, they don't need to be sold the AI and Gen AI because they can see the effect, they can see the effectiveness. They can see, oh my God, I can save so much time. Accenture did the experiment, 2 groups of business analysts. One group of business analysts, another group, business analysts. One group, they write their user story by hand, manually. And one group use the AI tool. They have the identical set of requirements. The group of business analysts writing the user stories by hand, 4 hours. And the group using the AI tools to write the user story, 2 minutes. And then when they compare, they're like the judges, compare the quality of the user stories, they found the one generated by the AI more syntactically correct. So they did the experiment. But then, of course, the AI team, the user AI, they lack of creativity and they lack of empathy. So because they just use the AI to generate that. The team who use the manual power to create the user stories contain some kind of curiosity, empathy, and creativity. Because it's like a piece of art. So they create the user story based on the requirement, and then they created something. But then the group, they use the AI tools is syntactically more correct. Syntactical, the grammatical. So from 4 hours, between 4 hours and 2 minutes. Yeah, that's the results. They because I attended the seminar that they actually presented the results to the audience. Paul, you have a question?
Mark, but
Mark, sorry.
just will there be pizza left? This is all my
Yeah,
questions.
okay. If we don't have a question, thank you very much for coming, and go out and then turn left, and the refreshment is waiting for you.